Welcome, everybody. This is JP University. We do this every Monday night at 5:30. We try to get it done in 20 minutes, but doesn't seem like it quite works. Seems like we end up being a little bit longer because we have some great questions and needs to be met on the call. So tonight we're going to be talking about follow-up. So my first question to all of you, hey Beth, welcome to the call. She might not have heard that. Hey Beth, welcome to the call. This call, Beth, will be a lot easier than the call today. Just say.
Ooh, I know, I feel so drained.
You were amazing. You were absolutely amazing. We did a VIP, and I won't tell details or anything, but we did a VIP lab where Brandon Barber, a coach, will answer somebody's question. And Beth had one that related to so many people, and he really dug deep, and it was just beautiful. And Beth, you had to work hard to get to where you got, and I'm imagining it drained you, but she was amazing. She was so beautiful. So anyway, I was so proud of you. So so anyway, to get back to follow-up, I do have a question for all of you. Follow-up. When you start to if you put in your calendar, hopefully you're blocking time in your calendar. So it doesn't just say Juice Plus, it says Juice Plus follow-up, or Juice Plus connect with customers, or Juice Plus, watch a video, something, so that you're actually very specific about blocking your time in your calendar. So when you've blocked out some time to do your follow-up, how do you feel right before that call? Like you have to make a bunch of calls. How does anybody feel? Does anybody love it? Does anybody get nervous? Does anybody get a little anyway?
I get really nervous. I get nervous, but then somebody said, just put a smile on your face. And it really does help. They can't see my smile, but it really does help.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about ways to correct that, but let's just talk for one moment about being nervous. Noreen, what makes you nervous? What's the fear or what's the anxiety around, do you think?
Well, if it's my friends, I'm afraid, of course, rejection. Everybody doesn't want rejection. And although now it's helped me that a no really is they don't know the health benefits. So that has helped me. This learning has really helped. But I think the anxiety of what their answer is going to be.
And then was it that, that people, you're a little bit nervous, especially if it's a friend, what they might think of you, right?
Yeah, or they may not like me anymore.
That's never going to happen.
Oh, goody. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Okay, so one is, what do people think of me? One is, how do I do this? How do I relax myself a little bit? The other thing is having the attitude, smiling first, no is not really a no. But how else do the rest of you feel? Don't tell me about what your solutions are yet. We're going to talk about that. How else do the rest of you feel? Do any of you feel absolutely at ease and can't wait to dial? Is there anybody that feels like that?
I do, Nikki.
Okay, and who's that? Oh, you, Carrie.
No, this is Carrie. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just said, it's yeah, go for it, Carrie.
Up one. I get really excited because I'm in hopes that there's going to be a shift or a change for someone that really that desires to be in a better place with their health or, with their income, or just being like.
Go on. I'm sorry, you interrupted.
No. I just that they're open, that looking at something means they're open for change.
Okay. Now, did you feel that way when you first joined?
Oh, no.
Because we're talking about that. And I'd like to come back to you. What did you feel like at the beginning when you had to make phone calls?
I think I was mostly worried about what people were going to think of me.
Okay. All right. So when you first started, there was some uncomfortability along with it. And so, Nancy, I saw you nod your head. That must be true for you as well. And are you still kind of in that place where it's hard for you to pick up the phone, Nancy?
It kind of depends on the situation and, what I'm following up on and who it's with and how I got to that point in the first place.
Okay.
Today I did some follow-ups that I was kind of excited about, but they were but they were like text follow-ups with more information.
Okay, so that's also a whole different thing. And then Heidi said, self-doubt, not knowing, not knowing, I should say it, not knowing if you'll say the right thing. So not so much about what people will think of you maybe, but knowing that there's a better way for you to say something because you've been learning that. And maybe this time you won't do that. Maybe the nervousness is just in the disappointment of our own self. We get off of a call and go, well, I didn't do that very well. Anybody ever do that? Well, it wasn't so much about what they thought of you. It's about what I think of me. And then Beth thought, okay, I'm being annoying. So here we've got a list of ways that we feel before we pick up the phone or before we text. I might annoy somebody. I might say the wrong thing and I won't like myself for doing it. Somebody's going to say no to me and I'm going to feel rejected. They're going to judge me and not like me anymore. I mean, there's a host of things that we can have in our negative self-talk before we pick up the phone. So what I really wanted to address tonight is how do you shift that? So my next question is, does anybody have a call or a text that they did as a follow-up and they got a great response like right away? Just one, where you can think of a time where you texted somebody and you were surprised with, yeah, tell me more, or yeah, whatever. Can anybody share an experience like that?
I don't know a particular experience off the top of my head, but I know it's happened and I'm like, whoa, what did I do? What did I say? And it was probably just the most simple thing. And then the self-doubt kicks in. You think they're going to say no. And they said, yes, it was a surprise.
Okay, so let's talk about the feeling that you had when they said yes. What did it feel like to have them say either, yes, I want more information, or yes, I want to get started, or yes, I want to meet with you?
You start like this and you're like, yes, it's exciting.
Okay, so number one, it feels exciting. What else?
It gives you more confidence.
Okay, exciting. It gives you more confidence. What else?
Pride and gratefulness that they said yes.
Did you say pride?
Yeah.
Great. All right. Is there anybody else that would like to add to that? When you've had something good happen with a follow-up call or text, can you tell us how that makes you feel?
I feel like excited about the possibilities, like not just that they'll have sometimes, well, it depends on the person, but sometimes I'm thinking, oh, that person would be so great on the team.
So you see a bigger picture, something flashes to you that gets you excited,
Yeah.
that actually helps you feel expansive. Like,
Yeah.
wow, there's something more here. There's more hope. Okay. So more hope. Anything else?
I had an experience where we were talking about Tower Garden and she said, can I see yours? And I said, sure. So she came over and she walked out on my deck and she said, let's do this. And I went, that's my line.
So
what do I do?
You didn't have to do anything right, Sheila? You didn't have to do anything right. She wanted to come see it. You said yes, she saw it. She said, let's go. So it's interesting that we beat ourselves up for not saying anything right. And at the same hand, Sheila didn't say anything and it was perfect. I mean, it's like taking that into consideration. I want you to consider that. So what I want you all to do just for a moment is I want you to all shut your eyes just for a moment. And if you want to put your avatar on or whatever, or just sit there with your eyes closed, it's not going to take very long. And I want you to take a deep breath first. And then I want you to imagine that when we get off of this call, you're going to do some follow-up. So I want you to imagine how that feels. And if you immediately go to the feeling of doubt or a little bit of butterflies or a negative kind of nervousness or your voice on your shoulder saying, well, this still could be one of those. I don't know why you're thinking it's going to be better. If you have one of those voices lying to you, I want you to just take a deep breath from that. If you went toward that road that was the kind of the negative self-talk road, if you did, I want you to take a deep breath. And for the next 30 seconds, I want you to feel, using your imagination, what it's like when you have something positive happen on the other end. They say yes, they want information. They want to buy the Tower Garden after they've just seen it. They're happy to watch your video. They can't wait to come to your launch call. And I want you to sense and feel the feeling in your body, what that feels like. Okay, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. And then I'm going to ask any of you, were you able to recreate the feeling that you get when you have that positive experience from sharing with someone? Anybody want to describe what that feels like right now?
I can share.
Okay, great.
Like a tingle in my heart.
So it's a definite feeling in your heart.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Where else does anybody feel it? Does anybody feel a little bit more relaxed than they did before after you shut your eyes and did that for 30 seconds? Anybody have a little bit more feeling of relaxation? Just a little bit. Like if before you were a 5 in terms of being stressed out, are you now maybe a 3 or 4? Anybody go that direction? Yeah,
Feel the
Ellie?
diff-
Oh,
sorry.
good. Beth, go for it.
I was just gonna say, I could feel, like when you were talking, like the second negative thoughts that came in, that's usually me. So when I thought about that, then I started getting a little more tight.
Mhm.
And then I relaxed, and I think you just said relaxed. I felt more calm when I started thinking about like the feelings I had when those people who did respond quickly, that feeling. I
Yeah,
felt calmer, more relaxed,
right.
and kind of like that same thing Heidi felt, like just that kind of excitement, but calm.
Yeah, I think that we underestimate the feeling of our body slowing down a little bit and relaxing a little bit. That's the time when the most possibility can happen for us, whether it's healing physically, whether it's changing the neural patterns in your brain. But when you can actually feel your whole body relax a little bit, your chances of having success increase greatly. And I don't know the percentage, but Heidi, I know that, the heart tingling, they say, and also that relaxing gets you a little bit out of the mental and more into your body. And they say, the heart energetically can create a magnetic field of about 6 feet when they measure it, and the brain only about 3. So if we can expand that heart energy, do you think that there might be a more powerful connection, even if it's over the phone, even if it's via text? Does that make sense to anybody here? Okay, great. And then Nancy, it looked like you were going to say something earlier. No, okay. And Ellie, how about you? You shook your head? Yes, it did feel more relaxing. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Would you be open?
No, just like Beth was saying, is that I feel a little anxiousness when I'm thinking about it and I'm doing it, because of course you don't want rejection, or you don't want, to seem salesy, or, in that area. But as you had us breathe and just like a few seconds of even like meditation, just to, think of something positive.
Yeah.
That helps to relax for sure.
It does. So I'm going to offer you have a technique before you go to contact people now, is to I would do it a little bit longer than 30 seconds. I would try to do it for a minute. I would try to, if you can remember a specific conversation and it may not be just specifically after follow-up, but maybe if you can go back to, I can remember some of my big thank yous, like they are big. And when I tell those thank yous, it shifts my, a mom that, and you might have already heard this story, but a mom whose little one had ADHD and he wasn't allowed to sit on the circle rug at reading time in kindergarten because he was poking and pushing and couldn't sit still. So he had to sit by himself. And she volunteered in the classroom. And every time she went in, you know, she left just feeling heartbroken for her little 5-year-old who didn't get to sit with the other kids. She came in one day and he was sitting on the rug. And the teacher, after the story was over and the kids were going about doing something, the teacher asked her what had changed, because in the last week, he'd been calmer, he'd been more focused, he was allowed back on the rug, he was part of the group, and it was really beautiful. What had she done differently? Well, the only change she had made was the Juice Plus Chewies, and it had been at least a month or longer that he'd been on it. And so now his brain is now being fueled with really great fuel, and it's now shifting who he is being in the universe. She told me that, and it was like, oh my God, like my not being afraid to share just, and I didn't know this about her son. So I didn't know what the story was going to be. But whenever I'm nervous or don't want to call somebody back, or like you said, the annoying thing, Beth, that's the one that always came from me. Not so much what they would think of me, but I don't want to annoy people. You know, that if I think of that story, it will much more readily help me pick up the phone than if I just go into it blindly with my brain telling me, you know, when you do these calls, you really annoy people. You know, when you do these calls, they think you're a salesman. You know, when you do these calls, you might say something wrong and offend somebody or offend yourself. If you find yourself going down that road, you can actually shift your energy by doing a little bit of short meditation and a concentration on the feeling that you have when you've helped somebody transform their lives, right? So does anybody want to add that? That's the most important thing. I do want to say in terms of follow-up, 8 to 12 times is what it takes to get somebody started. 8 to 12 times to have somebody say yes. So if that's the case and you quit on number 5, you've just quit on yourself and you've quit on them. So I'm just letting you know, those are the statistics. Heidi, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say how afraid I used to be of follow-up. I mean, I used to be afraid of my own freaking shadow when I started. That's honestly, I would be on these Zoom calls and I would never put my hand up. Nikki would literally have to beg me to speak on one of these calls. And the confidence that has grown within me after, you know, it's like when you do something enough, and you believe something enough, like you were saying, like just trusting that, and also holding space for that other person that they may just not be ready yet, and that it's not necessarily a no, but it is a not now.
Mhm.
And just continuing to just reach out and just ask them, are they in a different space? And if it's a no for now, that's totally cool. Just really meeting them where they're at, rather than having that expectation of a yes or a no. Maybe having the expectation, of course you want the yes, but expectation of a possibly maybe or maybe not right now. It's a lot easier to bear that, and then being disappointed when you have these expectations that are not being met.
Yeah. So a couple things that Heidi said. One was a repeat, which is really important, of what Noreen said about, you know, no doesn't mean no. It might just mean not now. Or no might mean they don't know what they don't know, right? So it's our job to help educate them. And then the second thing that I love that Noreen said is, you know, start your call with a smile. After you've done that meditation, sometimes for me, standing and walking when I'm talking helps. If it's talking, if it's texting, it's another story. And then the final thing, you said one more thing, Heidi, that I thought was really good that has now escaped me. It was not only the smile, no doesn't mean now. What was the other thing that you said? Do you remember? It was one
Just
other.
disciplining that disappointment
Oh.
and not having the expectation of,
Yeah, there's a piece when you get off of the phone and it didn't go well. What can you do to stop the insistent, I told you so. I told you it wasn't going to work, because that's what I told you so. And you still made that call. Now you feel crappy and they didn't get started on Juice Plus. You're kind of worthless. So when you're going down that road, that's the time to really become aware of what you're doing and go back to the feeling of what it feels like when you've helped somebody with a transformation. Carrie, you know, you don't have any fear at all about calling people. And you've also practiced this, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 times. Coming from that perspective, how long does it take to get to that place? Tell me a little bit about your process.
I think it took me at least, I'm going to say 3 to 4 years to really get comfortable, especially calling what I call a power list of people. And that could even still kind of make me a little nervous before I pick up the phone when it's somebody that's in a powerful position, like a doctor or a physician or somebody that I've known for a long time that's in corporate America. But for the most part, now I'm okay, I'm comfortable with it because I feel like I'm sowing seeds now, where before I was real concerned about the outcome of the call. And now it's like, if they're not ready, they're not ready, and it's okay. It's
Right.
okay for me. Yeah,
Beautiful.
but it took quite a while. Hmm.
So remember, time is on your side. It may not take you that long, but hopefully listening to Carrie, who says she's not nervous anymore, she loves doing follow-up calls, that you'll get to that place. And if you keep in the back of your mind, not only the results that you've helped somebody else get, maybe your own results. Like I stopped getting headaches and I stopped having knee pain and I had energy to be with my kids, which I didn't have before. Start going back to your own personal results, not knowing what might be helping somebody. If you go to some of those things after a call that did or didn't go well, it doesn't really matter. It's going to reinforce the neural pathways that follow-up calls are a good thing to do. And so keeping your why, your personal why in mind. And if your personal why is to be in service to others and to help people possibly have transformation in their life around their health and their finances, and then you go to the feeling of what it feels like to create that, you put those three things together, the knowing your why, coming up with that feeling, right? Those are two really important things. The why, coming up with that feeling, and also being very aware of what it's like when they have that possible transformation, giving hope to other people. It will shift you doing the follow-up calls. So I think we've covered pretty much everything. Does anybody want to add anything that they feel like is really important that we need to hear?
I just have one thing I'd like to say, that because I did use to, I'm like Kerry, like I love following up now. And it just reminds me of working in the hair salon, and people, I was always told that when you have a like a little advertisement anywhere in the salon, it subliminally takes people like 7 to 10 times before they actually really see it. It's the same, it's a similar kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I would just call out the elephant in the room. If that's the thing that you're most afraid of, do it first. Like do that big scary thing first, and then everything else on top of that is gravy.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said it at another point. I just recently bought some new makeup because the foundation I was using, which is just really a tint, they're not making it anymore. I've been using it for years. And there's been an ad that has come on my Instagram no less than 200 times. And so when I thought, what should I buy? I went to that. They took me 200 tries to get me, not 8 to 12. Because of course it's not personal on Instagram, but the fact is it is subliminal. I did remember who they were and I ordered it, and I'll see if I like it or not. But the fact is repetition, repetition, repetition. So,
I'd like to add something there too.
Yeah.
That's okay.
yeah,
One thing, what Heidi said, there's a book or something about, I haven't read it, but I heard the title is called Kiss the Frog. So you do the worst thing first. But the other thing I wanted to add to that is, one thing that helped me, I've been really good at follow-up. I don't feel those things as much as I do. Some people I do, some people I just follow up. Really depends on who I'm following up with. But what I do know is that I do in my head, when I'm nervous about stuff, I do kind of what Wendy Campbell talks about, that gift, the giving somebody a gift. I picture I've been really picturing that gift, like literally that gold box with the red wrap, red tie on it.
Yeah.
And I picture that I'm giving that gift to them, and it really helps change my whole feeling.
yeah. Imagine, go to somebody's front door, box in your hand, big red bow, and you're handing them a gift. And that is, in fact, what we are doing in our own way. It really, truly is. So that was a perfect close, Beth. Thank you. All right, everybody, have a great night. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, at 5:40, we have our Heat Madness wrap up of the week. And at 6 o'clock, we have our mindset. Wait, that's on Mondays. Never mind.
New
I'm sorry,
partner call.
new partners.
New
It's our
partner
new partners.
call.
It's our welcome call. So if you are a new partner or have a new partner, you're gonna want to be on that call Tuesday night because we're gonna get to welcome you all to our family. So that's tomorrow night. All right, everybody. Big love. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
later. Noreen, if you want to stay on,
Thank you,
great.
Nikki.
Gotta
Bye,
follow this.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.